Hi guys, I'm super excited about this one. Finally, I have them. Monocentropus balfouri, Socotra Island blue baboon. Communal setup! Hi guys, I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to Unseen Universe, where nature meets nurture. I'm Mitch, and I've got to tell you, man, I am super pumped about this one. I've had such a great time setting these up. I've really enjoyed making this video, and I really hope you enjoy it too. If you do enjoy it, please remember to like the video, and then also if you want to see more, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you see all upcoming videos and you don't miss a thing. So let's just get on with it, shall we? Hi guys, I think I am finally ready. I've got everything I need right here to get this Monocentropus balfouri communal setup going. I'm telling you, I am so excited and pumped to get this going. I've wanted this communal setup for so long. I do actually have an adult female and adult male that I'm going to be pairing soon, so look out for that. That'll be in a later video. But I've got about 25 slings arriving tomorrow. So what I need to do is I need to get this setup partially sorted tonight, so I can just finish it off tomorrow. So basically, I think I've got everything I need. I've got my enclosure. This is actually a prototype that was gifted to me by Christoph. Most of you will know who he is, I'm sure. He's the main guy behind Tarantula Room, and he does all the wonderful enclosures that you've probably seen in the background of most of my videos, which I sell on my website. But this one is one that he made before he started doing this sort of style, and he gifted this to me just to see how I got on with it, and it's taken me till now. This was probably about a year ago. It's just been sat, and I've never really had anything that suitable to go in it, but this is actually perfect. It's about a 20 by 20 by 20, and I plan on putting about 25 slings in here. Yeah, I've got about 50 balfouri slings coming tomorrow. I haven't decided exactly how many I'm putting in there yet. I'm going to wait to see what size they are, but I think I'm going to put between 25 and 30. Now, you might think this is quite big for so many, because they're probably only going to be between 1 and 2 centimeters, these slings. I've done loads of research before getting cracked on with this setup, and there's some really good videos out there, and I'm going to put some links in the description section, because I've learnt a lot from some of the other YouTubers out there, and yeah, it's helped me a great deal, so thanks to you guys. Like I say, I'm going to put some drop some links in the description. So basically, what I've learnt, I've kind of pulled a little bit of information from everybody, and some have said, I think in the early days, some suggested that if you only had small slings that you're going to use as a communal, that you only wanted a small space. But I think as people have learned and more experience, and people have been documenting their observations and experiences, I think I've now come to the conclusion that it doesn't really matter how big the enclosure is, because these balfouri like to be together and they like to hang out with each other. They will basically huddle together. They will basically migrate towards each other. So you could have quite a big enclosure, I think, with several hides and holes, and but I think eventually they will all migrate together in one space. So I think I've decided on a 20 by 20 by 20. This has got amazing visibility. Those of you who know Christoph's work, Tarantula Room, his enclosures, the polycarbonate is absolutely crystal clear. So I'm really excited to see how this progresses. So anyway, I've waffled a little bit. Let's just see what I've got here, what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. What I've got here is some excavator clay. I'm going to mix that. I'm going to put some of that in there. And I've also got some desert sand, which I'm also going to mix in there, about 50-50 I think. The idea really is to recreate their natural habitat, and so the Balfouri is from the Socotra Island, and here's some information.
Monocentropus balfouri, known commonly in the hobby as the Socotra Island blue baboon, was described by Pocock in 1897. This amazing old-world tarantula comes from the main island of Socotra in the Indian Ocean near the Gulf of Aden. This is approximately 250 miles southeast off the coast of Yemen. Although originating from Socotra Island, M. balfouri has been observed in Somalia and Madagascar. They are commonly known as the most communal tarantula in the hobby, as they have naturally evolved into living in close quarters in their natural habitat. Though they haven't been witnessed living communally in the wild, they are one of the very few species of tarantulas that can live communally in captivity. Socotra Island has a tropical to semi-desert climate with moderate temperatures and rainfall. Due to this, the island is mostly dry and very hot, with temperatures averaging 25 degrees centigrade annually, but reaching a scorching 40 degrees centigrade or above in April and May. Yearly rainfall is light, but is fairly spread throughout the year. Socotra is considered the jewel of biodiversity in the Arabian Sea. In the 1990s, a team of United Nations biologists conducted a survey of the island's flora and fauna. They counted nearly 700 endemic species, found nowhere else on Earth. There is a very high level of endemism at both species and genus levels. At the species level, endemism may be even higher, as phylogenetic studies have uncovered substantial hidden diversity. The Socotra Island blue baboon is a terrestrial species and enjoys burrowing, and so will make intricate channels with webbing lining them. Webbing is a white silk colour that is plentiful, covering sometimes the entire enclosure. Hiding areas is a must to ensure this tarantula feels safe. Sometimes, dependent on shape and size, the Socotra won't burrow and web nicely until a hiding area is provided. Substrates should fill the enclosure at least halfway to about 3/4. This species has a medium growth rate, with females reaching a maximum diagonal leg span of approximately 18 centimeters within a few years, while males are a little smaller. Slings are fed twice per week and are usually fed on large fruit flies and/or pre-killed insects. Juvies are fed once per week, or sometimes a little more often, depending on size of the prey. They are fed on medium-sized insects such as roaches and crickets. However, larger individuals and adults are generally fed once every 7 to 10 days. They can be fed a wide range of insects such as adult roaches, locusts, crickets and morio worms. Temperatures kept can vary depending on seasonal changes. The island of Socotra has scorching hot seasons, but obviously the balfouri hide away in shady regions, and so during summertime they can be kept at more reasonable temperatures of 24 to 28 degrees centigrade, with a drop to 20 to 24 degrees centigrade overnight. Then during winter months they can be kept at a cooler temperature of 21 to 23 degrees centigrade. Unlike most baboons, the Socotra Island blue baboon is generally best kept dry with little misting. This is where some people might not agree, but with its origin being relatively dry and with some forums suggesting over-humidifying as damaging to their health, they don't mind a little humidity, as it's wetness of the enclosure that may be unsettling to them. So a light misting of certain corners of the enclosure once every now and again may be beneficial.
Now, so because we're looking for a dry, I wouldn't say desert, it's not desert, but it's quite arid in places and it's part desert, but it is dry, I think, is the and the humidity is quite low. So what I want to do is I want to recreate that partial desert environment, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to layer the enclosure, and in the bottom layer what I want to do is I want to use the excavator clay to create a couple of hides and holes, so they're ready made for when the slings are first introduced into the enclosure. It's just so they can just like run away and hide a little bit, and you know, kind of build up their confidence and just kind of huddle together a little bit without having to do too much work right from the offset. So I don't want to stress them out. It's going to be a new environment. I want to just put them all in there, and then I want them to have some hidey holes to go into immediately. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that using the excavator clay mixed with sand, mixed with water, to get like a kind of molded types consistency, and then I'm going to build it up partially from about 3/4 of the way up to the back, and then I'm going to introduce some holes, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that in a minute. I think that looks alright actually. Feels pretty good. It's still a bit crumbly, but it will pack together like a bit like a snowball, which is what you want. It might still be a bit crumbly actually. I might have to put a little bit of water in there. Just a little bit more. Should have just done it with my hands to begin with, being a big wash, using a big wooden spoon. I think that's alright. So what I'm going to do is, when I put this in, I'm going to leave it overnight and till it sets, and then tomorrow I'll finish the rest of the enclosure off. Yeah, I think that's alright. Sorted. Right then, so here we go. I've got my excavator sand water mix ready to go. I've got my enclosure. So what I want to do is, firstly, I want to add a little feature. Well, it's not a feature. It's a technique that I pinched from Mark's Tarantulas. So cheers, Mark. You're a diamond. Basically, it's to put a block at the back, and the idea here is that when I put the excavator clay, because I'm going to build it right up to the back to about halfway point here, I think, just at the back, but I want a space, a viewing space, so I want this to be blank so we can all look inside. And so when the Balfouri, if they decide they want to all hang out together at the back, once they've dug down into the excavator clay and all the rest of the substrates, I'm hoping that they're going to hang out back here where I'll have left a little cave area, and so we can view them through the back. That's the idea. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out, but it doesn't matter. If it does, it does. And the other little trick I pinched from Mark is what I want to do is I want to include a couple of ready-made holes, hidey holes, and what I'm going to do is I've just made this kitchen roll, and I've just bent it here And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here at the back. Now, I think that's the other side, yeah. And what that'll do is, the excavator clay will obviously set around it, and that'll just leave a nice hole coming out from the back to the front where the clay is. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to pull that out without too much of it crumbling around it. It doesn't matter if some of it collapses. I just want enough so that they've got a hole, couple of holes they can go into. I mean, they'll obviously do most of the work. I mean, they might even just completely ignore it. But I don't think they will. So I'm going to put those in place, and I'm going to build up the excavator clay now. So let's get that in, shall we? So I'm hoping this is going to come together quite well. I mean, it doesn't matter if it doesn't, it's just an idea. Right then, let's get this clay in, shall we? So that's already starting to solidify, harden up and set a little bit. So I've just built it up a little bit at the back, just above, just to the top. I've wiped away the top over the plastic box that I've put at the back. You can see the space at the back there, look. So I've cleared it away at the top. I'm just going to let that set for a while, and then I'm going to pull that out. I've cleared it off so I can pull it straight out now. So hopefully that will come straight out, and it'll stay set. I've got my tissues here. I don't know how they're probably gonna it's probably gonna collapse, but obviously we're just gonna have to wait and see when I pull it out to see how much of the hole collapses. But it doesn't matter, even if there's just a little hole. I can make more holes with my fingers now. I was just trying to be clever, and I thought I'd have a go at this because Mark made such an awesome job of his. So yeah, so we've got those there. Now I'm just going to leave that now. I think I'm going to leave that overnight, and then tomorrow, because the BALFOURI probably won't be here until tomorrow afternoon, so I've got the morning to get everything else sorted out. I've got some sticks, I've got some twigs, I've even got some yellowy desert style twigs to go in there. So I'm going to build it up a little bit at the back and just build it slightly up so they can web all that up nicely. And then at the front I'll have a little bit more of a regular substrate style. So yeah, we'll see how this sets, and then we'll come back to it tomorrow. Great, thanks guys. Right then, so it is the day after, the night before, and here we are. The BALFOURI communal setup is back underway. So let's see what we've got, shall we? If you remember, I built up the excavator clay and I left it overnight. I remember I had that little my little gap at the back, and my two custom-made tubes to hopefully create some kind of a hide stroke tunnel. So I'm going to pull out the tubes first, I think. Now if these collapse a little bit, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. I'm hoping they're going to pull straight out, which they have done. So it may or may not have collapsed a little bit, the main thing is that no, they're fine. I'm looking at that, that's pulled out lovely, that has. So perfect. Pull the next one out. This one's maybe, I think I might have bent this one a little bit too much. No, it's coming out, it's coming out. It's coming out. Just gonna have to just build that one up, back up a little bit more. Yeah. Now that's collapsed a little bit at the front, but that's fine. The hole, the main hole going around the back, is actually still in pretty good shape, so I'm pleased with that. Now I'm going to take out the back plate. And that stayed in place. Now I don't want this to be, you can see that at the back, look, space. Now that's a huge space. Now I am going to fill in the bottom, a little bit at the bottom of that. You know, I don't want it to be too lovely and neat and tidy. So I'm going to take some of this from the front and I'm going to fill it in a little bit at the back. That's it. Like that, look. And then this is I've got a lovely piece of cork bark here that I'm going to use to just put over the top. So there, I've just excavated the back out a little bit. Just filled in a little bit down at the bottom. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to shore up the sides a little bit. So I've got a couple of nice pieces of cork bark. I'm just going to wedge that there, down the side, and then on the other side I'm going to do the same, just to shore that up and stop it from collapsing. Now these holes that I've already put in, they go right round to the back. So if I just put that in just at the corners rather than the side, like that. And then I'm just going to put a hole through there. Like that, and then that's actually crossing paths now. I can see daylight, so that's crossed paths now with that tunnel that I've already created. And I'm just gonna put that there, and then that hole gives access around the back. Brilliant. That should just work just right. Yeah, I can see daylight. Perfect. And I'm going to do the same with this side. You can see the hole, it's just there. So I just need to take that out. Create another. I mean, the spiders may or may not just excavate that out themselves once they realise. But I think rather than wait to see whether or not they might do that, I thought I'd already create it. So that should go right around the back there and join onto that hole. I can feel it, so that's brilliant. Push that right in. Brilliant. Chuffed with that. So now these holes that I've got in the sides, they connect up with the holes that I've already put in here at the front, there and there. So perfect. I might just get another piece of cork bark and just fix that over the top like that. Brilliant. There you go, look at that. Create a nice little cavern. Connecting holes. Right then, so what we want to do now is start making it look like a little arid, deserty type environment. So we get a few features in, or in the tarantula world, what we call anchor points. Right then, so I've added some tubing inside the holes that I'd made. That's just to support them while I add the rest of the paraphernalia, and I've also added a piece of cork bark down the back. Again, just to support the little cave structure that we've created. So right, let's get this built up, shall we? Right, so I think I'm quite happy with that. So I've got my base down, I've got all my anchor points and sticks in place. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Got some nice depth on that, so they'll be encouraged to web up right up on that. So I'm really excited to see how that pans out. So I just need to reorganise the cork bark at the back. I don't want it where it is. At the moment it's just supporting. I want to actually I'm still going to use it as a roof, but I want to just, I suppose I could just leave it where it is actually. I think it looks fine. I might just leave it. There's plenty of room at the back, look. There's a nice gap there, look. Can't quite see it properly, can you? Get my light working properly. Let's have a look. So yeah, look, see? I might just leave it. We can take out the little holes here, so the holes are going to connect to this gap at the back. But that's stable, that is now. That's wedged in. So I might just leave that. Excellent. I'm really chuffed about that. Right. This is looking great round back of here, man. I'm loving it. Right. Look at that. I think we're sorted. Bring up to the front there, look. That's looking pretty good, that look. Look at that at the back. Loving it. So we've got some lovely gap here, look. A nice little cave. We've got some holes here. I'm going to take out those other holes here and they should all connect up then at the back, all around there. I think that's going to look amazing. I just hope they use it. Right. Let's get the rest of the substrate in, shall we? Okay then, so this is now the foundation. The excavation clay is all kind of, I've chiseled out a few areas, so there's some gaps now underneath all the sticks and areas. I've laid a couple of pieces of cork bark at the back just to provide some more areas where they can web up and make some nice little homes in. And there's lots of gaps in between the sticks, and then there's a nice area at the front where I'm going to add more substrate, and obviously that's going to be where I'm going to place the water and the food. So at the back where we where I plan to make the little cave. I've just scattered some pieces of a various mix of soil, a bit of vermiculite, and basically just a bunch of forest floor style type substrate. So just lace that at the bottom. I've got 2 supports either side here, and then I've got the cork bark layered at the top. So that's a lovely little hide, that is. The holes, you probably can't see them from this angle, but there's a hole there and there's a hole there, and they're the ones, if you remember right at the beginning, they lead through right through to here. You can't quite see them here, but I'll give you a closer look later. There's a hole at this side, and then there's another hole at this side, and they both connect, open up at the back now. So I've got the foundation in place. Now basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to layer a little bit of substrate. So now the substrates what I've got is I've got some like I say, I've got some like forest floor mixture. It's just a mixture of stagnant moss, vermiculite, peat soil, core soil, and this is it's not damp, and it's certainly not wet. It's barely even damp, but it's got a very small amount of moisture. So I'm going to add that as the base layer first. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit over there, just to make it a little bit natural, you know. I don't want it all too neat and tidy, but I'm gonna layer it at the front here. Remember, this is going to be my flat space. Just put that back in place. A couple of sticks just moved out of the way. That's it. That's where I want that bad boy. Let's piece that down there. Yeah, so this is the first layer, and it's just ever so it's just got a very small amount of moisture, because most of you probably know this, but obviously the BALFOURI, they do like it dry. They come from a dry region, you know, they don't want it wet. They don't mind a bit of humidity, I think, but you know, obviously there's a difference between humidity and wetness. So we don't want it wet, but we just want a small amount of humidity, and hoping that this small amount of moisture in there, and then I'm going to provide them with a water dish anyway. So, but the rest of it is just going to be dry. That'll do for that. That's a very thin layer I've got at the bottom, as you can see. So, and now I'm going to put the next layer on, and this is basically the same mixture as what I've just described, and this is but this is bone dry. I've been drying this for days, so I'm just going to put that over the bottom as well. You can see already how dry that is. That's a nice mix, that is. As Dave would say, it's the beastie mix. Ha ha ha! Good old Dave. So I'm just gonna chuck that on, really. And also, what I've got, well, I did have, oh there it is. I've also got a little bit of sand left over, so I'm going to sprinkle some of this over it as well. Just because, like I described earlier, of the dry, arid, not so much desert, but there are definitely deserty regions in this area. So we've got lovely rough substrate there. Look at that. That's looking fantastic. I've just covered my little hole up. Can't have that. Just got that little hole there, look. That's it. Just to open that up again. There we go. And this one too. Just need to open that up again. There we go. There we go. And they can also get down to this. So there's a couple of, I'll give you a close look in a minute. I'm wondering if that's enough substrate. I might just sprinkle a little bit more. I've got some really nice dry stagnant moss in there. I might just perch a bit of that up here. I mean, to be honest, I'm going to all this trouble, but in like several weeks, it's probably got, or months, it's going to be completely webbed over anyway. So, but you know, it's nice. I'm hoping to get some really nice footage of them before they completely web it up. Before they totally web it up. So, but we'll see. So I'm just going to sprinkle some more sand all around there, and I think that'll do. I think I like that. I like that a lot. What do you reckon? I'll give you a closer look at that in a minute. There we go, look. Look at that little cavern there at the back. I'm dead excited about that. So you can see here that you can't see, there's a hole there, look, so they can get in at the top, get down into this bit, and also there's a hole here and a hole here connecting to the front. I'm hoping they're going to make good use of that, because if they all do as they're told and they hang out down here, I'm hoping we can get some secret footage. That would be cool. So there you go. I think that's it. And then I'm going to put a water dish here, and then when I feed them, there's plenty of room at the front for feeding. I'm hoping to get some really cool footage of, because I do know that they, as a community, they'll often, if I put some freshly killed prey in there, they should probably share it, really. I mean, you might get the odd one or two just running off with bits and pieces, but I'm hoping to get some really cool footage of them having a good feed and sharing the prey. There's another hole in here. Anyway, I'm going to I think I'm done. I like that. I'm really pleased about that. Let's have a closer look. Right then, I'm ready. The enclosure is ready. I've added a little bit more sand to what you saw previously. Not too much, just a tad more, but I'm really super happy with it now. I really hope the Balfouri are going to like it. I think they're going to love it, so we'll see. I've got the Balfouri here. I've got 27 of these bad boys in here, so as suspected they are about 1 to 1.5 centimeters, maybe 2. Some of them, yeah, I'd say some of them might be. Actually, I'm going to say they're about 1 to 1.5 centimeters. But the good thing is they're all about the same size. So yeah, let's get them in there, shall we? Right then, so they're in. All 27 are in there now. They've pretty much dispersed. I can see one or two like tucked away in the corners, hiding up against a little bit of, you know, a little bit of wood or a stick or something. I can just see one or two, but I think for the most part they've all gone either down into the burrows or under the cork bark. I've got a nice cork bark cave on top here as well. I can't see if any have actually migrated or moved into the custom made cave that we've designed, but I'm hoping that they'll find their way eventually. So yeah, so basically I'm just going to leave them overnight now, let them settle down, and then hopefully then they start feeling a bit more confident. They'll come out tomorrow, and I'm hoping to catch them moving around and exploring their new home. I really hope they'll like it. I don't see why not. I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous, so if I were them, I'd absolutely love it. So I am going to pop a water dish in there in a minute, but I'm not going to feed them until tomorrow. I'll probably, like I said, I'm going to wait for them, let them just settle in, and then tomorrow I'm going to pre-kill some roaches, pop them in, because as far as I can tell, at this young stage, I think they might prefer a pre-killed food. I mean, they're well capable of catching their own prey, but because there's so many in there at the moment, I thought it'd be quite nice to just pre-kill the prey, because I do know from watching other videos and listening to other people's experiences that they will communally eat. They will share the pre-killed prey. So I'm hoping to catch some of that footage and catch them sharing prey, and hopefully we'll observe some really interesting behaviour. So yeah, I'm really excited to see that. So for now, I think I'm just going to leave them, pop some water in there, and then leave them overnight, and then we'll come back and hopefully I'll do a recap. I'll either tag it onto the end of this video, or I'll do a whole new video. I think this video is long enough. Sorry about that. But you know, for some people, I think it's quite nice to see the process right from the very scratch, right from the beginning, the whole thing through. Because when I was first doing some research on this, I didn't really see anybody setting up an enclosure apart from Dave for really young slings. Everybody else were just like rehousing a communal that they'd already grown up a little bit. So yeah, I thought it'd be nice to just go through the whole process right from scratch, see what I've done, and hopefully it's been a little bit interesting. And well, anyway, we'll get back and we'll see how they're getting on. Right then, so just a quick word about the BALFOURI setup. It's been about a week now. I've pretty much finished the editing on the video, and I just wanted to wait to see if I could get a little bit of sneak footage. And basically, even though it's been a week since I put 27 in there, I have had a water dish and some pre-killed prey in there, and I know I can see by looking at the prey that they have actually been nibbling at it and they have been eating it, so that's good. However, I've seen maybe one or two BALFOURI in the whole week, so they're just hiding at the moment. I'm sure they'll get more confident and start coming out a little bit more later on. There is definitely webbing, so there's loads of activity going on. There's a lot of webbing at the back. You can't see it from here, but I am going to do some reviewing. There's some webbing, some nice webby holes at the back. There's a couple at the front. So they're keeping busy. There's activity going on. They're eating, so it's all good. But I will definitely bring a review of and an update of what's going on with them at a later date. As soon as I start seeing a little bit more activity, then that's what I'll do another video on those. So we'll see. Hopefully they'll start coming out soon. I have seen a couple of other videos of other people who have done communals, and they've all said the same thing, like they put them in there and they don't see them for weeks. So yeah, hopefully they'll start coming out soon. So anyway, thanks for watching, and take care. See you later, guys.
weekend has landed. All that exists now is clubs, drugs, pubs and parties. I've got 48 hours off from the world, man. I'm gonna blow steam out of my head like a screaming kettle. I'm gonna talk cod shit to strangers all night. I'm gonna lose the plot on the dance floor. The free radicals inside me are freaking, man. Tonight I'm Jack Travolta, I'm Peter Popper. I'm going to Never Neverland with my chosen family, man. We're gonna get more spaced out than Neil Armstrong ever did. Anything could happen tonight, you know? This could be the best night of my life. I've got 73 quid in my back burner. I'm gonna wax the lot, man. The Milky Bars are on me, yeah!